The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is back on the radio. Another week of sonic vibrations is headed your way. And we begin this week with the good, the bad, and the ugly of the repeal and replace of the Obamacare legislation with, what do we have, like a Trump care? Is it a Paul Ryan care? They're calling it the American Health Care Act, H.R. 1628. It was passed by the House of Representatives, and it supposedly reduces taxes on the American people by over $1 trillion. Yay! The bill abolishes the following taxes imposed by former President Barack Hussein Obama and the Democrat Party through reconciliation in 2010 as part of the Affordable or the Unaffordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. It abolishes the Obamacare individual mandate, which hits about 8 million Americans every year. It abolishes the Obamacare employer mandate tax, together with the repeal of the individual mandate. This tax repeal is estimated to be a savings to the American people about $270 billion. Somehow they're going to have to come up with that money to pay for the stuff they didn't repeal, but we will get into that. It abolishes the Obamacare medicine cabinet tax, which hits about 20 million Americans with health savings accounts and 30 million Americans with flexible spending accounts. This is about a $6 billion tax cut to the American people. So if you're all in favor of reducing taxes on the American people, you're applauding the Obamacare or the Trump care at this point, the American Health Care Act. It abolishes the flexible spending account tax on 30 million Americans. This is a $20 billion tax cut. They're saying it abolishes the Obamacare chronic tax care on 10 million Americans with high out-of-pocket medical expenses. This is about a $126 billion tax cut. In fact, if you're looking at this is just removing the taxes that Obamacare had put in place. It abolishes the Obamacare HSA withdrawal tax. This is a $100 million tax cut. Chump change when you're looking at the federal budget. We're going to get into that later as well. It abolishes the 10% excise tax on small businesses with indoor tanning services. This is a $600 million tax cut. So those small businesses that had those tanning beds are now going to see a reduced tax rate, and that should, if those establishments are worth their weight in salt, that should translate into cheaper tanning costs. But we'll see if that happens.
Fire.
It abolishes the health insurance tax. This is a $145 billion tax cut. It abolishes Obamacare 3.8 surtax on investment income. This is a $172 billion tax cut. So that's probably Wall Street stuff. Anything you've invested in, you're getting a tax cut there as well. So Wall Street always needs a tax cut, and anybody involved in Wall Street. It abolishes the medical device tax. This is a $20 billion tax cut. It also abolishes the tax on prescription medicine. So that should bring down the cost of prescription drugs, because that's a $28 billion tax cut. It abolishes a tax on retired prescription drug coverage, a $2 billion tax cut. So all that stuff was put in by the Democrats and now repealed by the Republicans. All that money is now back in the American people's hands, maybe. It's probably going to increase the deficit a little bit. There's a lot of billions right there that the federal government isn't going to have. But the whole thing doesn't fix the problems that are associated with healthcare. Not in the least. Health insurance and health coverage is way too expensive. And this repeal of Obamacare to the American Health Care Act doesn't address the core issues. Why is it so expensive to take care of yourself, especially later on in life, to make sure you stay healthy or you're sticking around? And this goes back to insurance companies. It was the insurance companies that were involved in the Affordable Care Act. And now, even though we have the taxes removed, and that's all they really did, they just removed taxes that were imposed on us. So it's not really a tax cut, as they're saying. We're just going back to not having to pay those taxes like we did prior to the Affordable Care Act. So it's not really a cut. They're going to call it a cut. It's resuming normality, if you can call being taxed on every front normality. But these insurance companies are still making boatloads of money. They're profiting. They're not going out of business. So if that's the case, the problem, in my eyes, is that there is money that's being paid in by the hardworking Americans. Anybody who has an insurance plan, a health insurance plan, they're paying in. And instead of it going to, or all of it at least going to their health care, which it should, billions and billions and billions of dollars are funneled into the health insurance companies, and they make profits. And the people, their CEOs and their chairmen and everybody on their boards and their employees all make money off the money that is supposed to go towards taking care of you. The real problem, or at least the initial problem, is the health insurance companies. They're making boatloads of money. And the money that they are making isn't going towards taking care of people, because they've got a profit and they got to siphon off some money at your loss. It's your health care. Yet a company who's a broker of sorts, who says, hey, we'll cover you in case of something, maybe, we'll offer you this plan, and if you fit in all these requirements, don't forget about those deductibles, because we can't cover everything. I mean, we're making boatloads of money, So God forbid we can cover everything. And anytime anything goes up, instead of us, because we got to make a profit, anytime anything goes up, we just raise the rates. Sometimes I think these healthcare bills that come through Congress are just ways of covering up the increases that are already going to be coming in the health insurance market. Because they're so embedded inside the government that they have control of our politicians. They receive tons of money. Look at all the politicians and go look at what they're invested in. And then see who lobbies them. And people that head up to Washington with no money all of a sudden are becoming millionaires. Millionaires. That's good public service. You go up there and service yourself through the public. I guess that's what they mean by public service. The public services them. Anybody who can get to D.C., anybody who can get into a political office of some sort, the public serves them. That's what they mean by public service. They don't mean they're there to help you, to put in something in place to benefit you, the little person, the public. You're silly to even think that. These people go up there and they think the public is supposed to be there to service them. That's why they impose taxes. And when people get so mad about it, they give you a tax cut because they know they went too far. Because the left and the right, the Republicans and the Democrats, are no different. All they want is to control the government so they can lead it in whatever manner they think is appropriate. They just want the power, the wealth, the ability to control the country. And they work together very well when it benefits them. Oh, they work great together. We'll talk about that in the budget when we come back from the break. But we have a few minutes here still, and we still haven't covered everything. Why is health insurance so expensive? Well, we got the insurance companies making tons of profits. Then we have the medical field ripping us off for $500, $700 for a pill. It's a big scam. They all work together. The government, the drug companies, the medical field, the insurance companies. As long as all of them are making a buck, it's all right. And if you get hosed in the whole deal, if you get screwed, well, it's just too bad. I mean, no system is perfect, We can't cover everybody. We can't take care of it in certain circumstances. But why is it that when you get health insurance through some company, some brokerage firm, basically, why you can't just go down and check off what you want? No, they have specifically made, you can take this plan or that plan, or why can't I have a big check box and I go, okay, if you want birth control, check here. Well, since I'm a man, I don't want birth control. What do I want to be on the pill for? So I'm not going to check that. I won't have to pay that in my premium. Do I want x-rays? Well, that depends. Do I think I'm going to need x-rays? If I don't think them, or if I think I can pay for them out of pocket when I go to the hospital because I broke a toe or something, I don't have to check that box. I'll just skip past the x-rays. Now, do I want a dental plan? That depends. Do I want to go to the dentist and have bright, shiny teeth? Make sure, all my teeth are filled or whatever. I may want to do that. Why isn't that offered like that? How about eye coverage or free office visits? You could check all that in the insurance company form. I mean, if it was a fair system, if it really was to insure you. But really, it's a form of collectivism. What they want you to do is put all your money into this giant pool. They take out their sum, they take out their sum, and they hope that not everybody needs health insurance or medical help at the same time. That's all they just hope that doesn't happen, which probably won't. And if it does happen, it becomes a national emergency, and the government will take over, and they won't have to suffer any of the downfalls for insuring all these people beyond what they can insure them for. Insurance in general is a stupid idea in the manner when you're talking about when it comes to healthcare and even car insurance. See, the insurance covers everybody, and it shouldn't do that. It should cover me. I'm paying for my insurance. Me. It should cover me, and it should cover the things I want the insurance to cover. Yet, it's to cover everybody. We put everybody in a giant pool. Well, if somebody pays in $10 and then they have a critical injury or they crash their car or whatever, they get all this stuff they didn't pay for. Well, you can't leave them stranded, but you're screwing everybody else that paid in by giving this person more than they already paid in. It's the same with Social Security. If you get a dime more than you paid in, you're ripping the system off. Because somebody is getting a dime less somewhere. They're just hoping enough people die that money, die before you reach Social Security, before that money has to go back to you. That way they don't have to pay it. Anyways, folks, I'm long here. Got to take a quick break. More on the flip side. Don't think about touching that dial.
That would be a mistake.
The John Lebang Show will be right back after this. That's guaranteed, man. Like some good tie stick. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-'70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow them at Twitter at R&R Unraveled, and look them up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's hydroponic radio for your brain, man. Feel smarter yet? All right, folks, welcome back. Since the Affordable Care Act, or the American Health Care Act, is part of the overall budget, and the budget was just passed, or a continuing resolution. It's not even a budget anymore. There used to be a day here in this country where they would pass a budget and it would be for the whole year. Now they can't do it because there's so much in the system that they can't afford to budget out a whole year because they don't know if they're going to have the money for it. They don't know how it's going to work. They just don't know. So now they pass on this continuing resolution. Remember, this all happened during the Obama administration. They were going to shut down the government, so let's just give them a continuing resolution to keep the government open for so long. Who cares if the government shuts down? Big deal. So we get this $1.1 trillion, ladies and gentlemen, $1.1 trillion continuing resolution. And this carries us on till like September. 1.1 trillion. You would think 1.1 trillion would cover the whole country the whole year and there would be a surplus. No. We're so in debt. We have so much spending that we can't afford. 1.1 trillion doesn't cover it, and it only covers like 6 months. And then in the budget, which is It's amazing, right? So we get a budget that doesn't contain any money for the wall. So all of you who really want this wall to be built are getting hosed. And Donald Trump's going along with it. No big deal. We're doing great. We're doing great. America making great again. Money's going to pay for Puerto Rico's bankruptcy. That's in the budget. Because Puerto Rico is, their healthcare system is failing down there. You know, and no one ever talks about in these budgets, even though it's allocated there, that there's plenty of money going to foreign objectives, whether it be foreign relief funds, you know, foreign aid, whatever it might be. We got to fit that in there. We might have to shut the government down if that money's not allocated to the foreign countries. Trump's out there going rah-rah because he did get a Pentagon increase, you know, in the manner of they get equal hikes in their spending as any of the non-defense programs. So any of the social programs that go up whatever percentage each year, the Pentagon gets the same increase. That was that fits it right in there, Mr. Trump. According to Paul Ryan, and I want you to listen to these words, he says, "No longer will the needs of our military be held hostage by the demands for more domestic spending." Now, I want you to think about that, ladies and gentlemen. He is admitting in there that our military is not about protecting us domestically because it has nothing to do with domestic spending, according to Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan and the other neocons out there consider the military an offensive force that should be sent to wherever they need them to go. And it is not a domestic spending program, which it should be, because it's national defense. That's what national defense, that's what they call it. Except we don't defend much. We attack. We aggressively attack. But not 1 cent went to President Trump's border wall, and no poison pill riders that would have prevented so-called sanctuary cities from receiving federal grants. So those sanctuary cities that are just letting people who don't, you know, who are illegally in this country and who fund them and house them and protect them, give them your tax money, that's still there. No border wall, and you get money for people who are hopping the border. Makes sense. There's no defunding for Planned Parenthood. None at all. So, you know, hey, it's okay. Abortions keep going. We get a little bit of the undermining of the Affordable Care Act. That's about it with the Affordable or the American Health Care Act. You get $18 billion in emergency funding to jumpstart and rebuild the military with an extra $1.5 billion on border security. Both of which, Mr. Trump, are very short of those demands you were saying. You were demanding that you get this much money and that much money for this and that, and you're not getting it. No. Of course, there's money for foreign aid, grants to state and local governments, and protection for the Environmental Protection Agency. There's money there. Far from the cuts everybody wanted in the Tea Party, and many of us who voted for President Donald Trump. The measure provides $2 billion in disaster money, $407 million to combat western wildfires, an additional grants for transit projects, and $2 billion increase for medical research at the National Institute of Health. And that way they can do more studies on how certain groups do certain things and have certain health issues. The Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Senator Joe Manchin, he lives in a mansion, I would bet you, of Vermont, he's a Democrat, won a $1.3 billion provision to preserve health benefits for more than 22,000 retired coal miners. That's the government paying for coal miners' health insurance, health plans, health benefits of retired ones. They picked up a pension plan. The government is paying pension to coal miners, not the companies that they worked for, because I don't believe they worked for the government, but you, the American taxpayer, are paying for that. I know it sounds like I'm railing on the coal miners. I'm not. It's just not the purview of the federal government to have a pension plan for coal miners. Pelosi was the driving force behind the effort to give a cash-strapped government of Puerto Rico, who has some very good beans and rice down there, $295 million to ease the Medicaid burden that they have. Nancy Pelosi, California, is worried about Puerto Rico. She was elected to represent the people of California, Northern California, for that matter, not the people of Puerto Rico. If Puerto Rico needs a representative and they're not being represented, if they're falling short for whatever reason because they're a commonwealth and they need help, why don't they become a state? Petition to become a state. You had your chance and you passed on it, by the way. Petition to become a state, and then you can pay taxes to the federal government like the rest of us. And then you can at least deserve to get some money back in some kind of bailout for your Medicaid plan. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. The things that are in the budget, $1.1 trillion budget, ladies and gentlemen. Just imagine how much money that is. And it's going to silly stuff like this. It's going to foreign governments. There's foreign aid that was allocated. No money for a wall, which doesn't cost the amount of foreign aid. Couldn't you just peel off that foreign aid money and put it towards the wall? If that's a priority? I'm just saying. Personally, on the wall, my position is it's up to the people in those states to decide if they want a wall. Not me in Michigan. If we want a wall here in Michigan, we have a wall. It's called the Detroit River. But if we want, and the surrounding lakes, but if we want a wall from a foreign country, if we want a wall, that's up to us to decide if we want to build it. Not somebody in Arkansas, not somebody in Maryland, not somebody in Utah. So if those people want to build a wall and they can come up with the funding to do it, then build it. But when you promise you're going to build a wall and then it's not in the budget, but there's a whole bunch of other things, Mr. President. There's a whole bunch of other things in there. You want to champion that, right? You want to champion the fact that you who are out saying, oh, you're doing a great job, we're making America great again, and you're failing on everything. Or you're not reaching the goals. You're looking like you're doing something. Oh, you're trying. Those press ops, those little photo sessions are looking good. Anyways, folks, we're up against the half-hour break. More on the other side of this.
Don't go anywhere. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
You'd be crazy to change the dial now. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. And allow me to do a little self-promoting. If you want to know more about the John Lebang Show or what we're all about, feel free to go to our website. That's www.jlebang.com. There's archives of the show, videos, music, all sorts of things to keep you very entertained. Now, if you want to contact the John Lebang Show for whatever reason, feel free to send us an email at jlebang@live.com. Now, if you're on Twitter, then please follow us on Twitter at John Lebang. And when you're talking about us, use the hashtag banger. And finally, if you're on Facebook, well, I know you're on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook. Then look us up on Mark Zuckerberg's cash cow at the John Lebang Show and like that page, because we like it when you like that page. This half hour is brought to you by Pane and the Glass Window Cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass Commercial and Residential Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. Well, this seems to be a full night of Donald Trump news. It's been a big week, I suppose, for the DJT. Donald Trump has put out a video. Yes, he has. It's a video, and apparently CNN and other mainstream manufactured news outlets are not allowing it, blocking it, or as he says, censoring it from being aired on their networks. As if they haven't already given him enough coverage. Maybe he doesn't like the coverage. Maybe most of us don't like the coverage that they give on those stations, on those networks. But yet, they have the right, Mr. President, in a free country, and as far as I know, that's what we have, or at least that's what we're trying to preserve, is a free country. And in a free country, if you don't want to do something, if you don't want to air somebody's ad for whatever reason, you don't take their money and then you don't play their ad. Very simple. That's like doing business, Mr. Trump. Don't you know that? I mean, you are a businessman. If you do not want to purchase a product from a certain company for whatever reason, price is too high, you don't like how they do things, whatever it might be, you don't purchase it from them. And if you don't want somebody in one of your hotels, you have them thrown out, don't you? So, with that mentality, Mr. President, which is the correct mentality, because we're not supposed to be forcing people to do anything. We're not supposed to be obligated to the will of whomever. So if CNN, ABC, NBC, whoever else does not want to air your ad, big deal. They don't want to air your ad. I mean, really, it's already an amazing thing that you're putting out an ad 100 days into your presidency, and it looks like a re-election ad. In fact, it is a re-election ad, isn't it, Mr. President? Already, we're 100 days in, and you're already running for a second term. I mean, it's a propaganda piece. Here, take a listen.
Donald Trump, sworn in as president 100 days ago. America has rarely seen such success. A respected Supreme Court justice confirmed. Companies investing in American jobs again. America becoming more energy independent. Regulations that kill American jobs eliminated. The biggest tax cut plan in history. You wouldn't know it from watching the news. America is winning, and President Trump is making America great again.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
President Trump is making America great again. Largest tax cuts in history. Well, we're yet to see those tax cuts. The budget didn't actually happen the way we thought it would turn out, did it? No. Sure, the Obamacare was repealed and replaced, as we were speaking earlier. And there are a great deal of tax cuts across the board. But those are truly just putting us back to where we were before the Obamacare. So to me, that's not really a tax cut. Just saying. Your judge that you got confirmed to the Supreme Court, you couldn't get confirmed until they changed the rules. They invoked the nuclear option. Oh, the nuclear option. But we changed it, man. We had to because he was not going to be confirmed because they were going to hold it up. For a party that lost everything, they sure have a lot of power. And then I'm talking about the Democrat Party. They still control so much. The budget, which I didn't speak of while we were talking about the budget, they were out there cheering on how the budget turned out. Those Democrats, they loved it. Didn't really turn out like a Republican. At least how the Republican base thought it would turn out. Not when the Democrats are out there cheering it. Then we got the ad here. Oh, largest tax cuts, and we ain't seen them. It's a lie. He's already got propaganda piece out here going. and the judge, they had to change the rules. The pipeline, more energy independent. That was already rocking and rolling. That pipeline was held up and, it's not held up and whatever. It was already in place. It's not like that pipeline just started when Donald Trump took office. It's been in the works for a long time, and it's gone through this and that. Some stalling, and then some getting back on track, and then some stalling, and then getting back on track. So now they're back on track. It's not because of Donald Trump per se. Oh, the whole bunch of new jobs. Whole bunch of new jobs created under Donald Trump. Okay. Have you looked at the want ads? Are those jobs being created? If they're actually being created, are they worth anything? I'm looking at the job market going, okay, what jobs are being created? Nothing. It's the same jobs that were before he was in office. Same jobs. There's no more higher paying jobs in there. Oh, maybe there's a little bit more entry-level jobs. Ooh, so we've gone from part-time jobs under the Obama administration to, entry-level jobs. Oh, those are great-paying jobs. Magnificent, Mr. President. Why don't you keep pumping out more propaganda pieces so that your people who are slipping, your base who voted for you, who are sitting here going, what the hell's going on, Mr. President? Nothing is turning out like we expected it to. You put out a propaganda piece because you think that's going to brainwash them? Oh, a whole bunch of executive orders. We're getting things done. Rah, rah, rah. We hated the executive orders when Obama was doing it. Why do you think we're going to like them when you're doing the exact same thing? Look at the Obamacare thing. Sure, we get it repealed in place. It took 2 attempts. First time you didn't have enough to do it. You didn't have enough to do it. The second time around, you have enough to do it, but it's, it doesn't fix anything. It just removes the taxes for the most part. That's it. And if that's what your Republican base wanted, I guess that's okay, but that's not what they wanted. They wanted the Obamacare lifted, gotten rid of, and they wanted health care to be fixed, which will never be fixed, by the way. Just like immigration, just like every other big topic issue that goes on in the political world, it'll never, ever, ever be fixed. Why? Because it brings in ratings, and if you fix it, then nobody's going to watch. If all the problems of the country are fixed, who's going to watch the politicians bloviate on television? Go to their rallies. Who's going to do that? Nobody. Because there won't be anything to complain about. Oh, the country's running great. People have all their money. The federal government brings in just enough to make it work. Not 1.1 trillion just for 5 months or 6 months. Woo! Really good. Really awesome budgeting there, you Republicans. I thought we're supposed to reduce the deficit. They can't reduce the deficit because there ain't anybody up there that's smart enough to do it. Because you got to have guts. That's what it is. If you want to reduce the deficit, you got to have guts. You got to take on the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve Act. That'll help reduce the deficit if we get rid of them. We owe them money ever since they started printing the money. Why don't we stop giving money away to every freaking country on the face of the planet? We got problems here, infrastructure problems, health problems, everything you can think of here, and we're sending money over there. Who cares about over there? What have they done for us? You tell me what anybody in Palestine has done for the United States, or what anybody in Israel has done for the United States, or Japan, or anybody. They don't do anything for us. We do it for them. Half the countries on the planet couldn't survive without us. And we're more worried about them than we are about our own. Oh, we're worried about immigration. Shut it down. We can't take care of the ones we have already. Why do we want to bring in more people? It doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter what religion they are, what, gender they are, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. We can't take care of our own right now. We're shipping off money here and there. Can't take care of our own. Then we got the president. Oh, everything's great. Look at my new video. Look at every great thing that I've done in the first 100 days. Done nothing. Oh, you got Obamacare repealed. Okay, we're going to give you that. We got the the taxes and the mandate taken off. Okay, one thing. That should have been done in the first month. You had Republicans keep shoving up. They had it repealed 100 times and Obama wouldn't, do it. Obama wouldn't sign it. He kept vetoing it. It took all the way to May to have that happen. We get a budget plan that doesn't even fulfill the promises that you said, Mr. President. In fact, the Democrats are cheering about it. But it's, hey, great 100 days. Great 100 days. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. We're making America great again. It's a pitiful propaganda piece. Because that's all you're doing. You're trying to brainwash people into think you're actually doing something. When barely anything's getting done. For the benefit of the American people. The people who voted for you. We got something. We got a little crumb. Because you knew if you didn't get rid of this crumb, it would just get ugly. So we got rid of the mandates on Obamacare, or now the American Health Care Act. Unbelievable. Why is the government even involved in half these things they're involved with? They screw up everything they get their paws on, and people want them to do more? Do more! Why not? Screw the whole thing up. Blow the whole world up. Why don't you? Might as well. Unbelievable. 100 days of nonsense we've had out of Donald Trump. And trust me, I voted for him. We're still better off with Donald Trump than we would have been with Hillary. But for your first 100 days and all this grand agenda that you told us you were going to do, we get one nugget at the 11th hour. At the 11th hour, we get one nugget, and then we get a video saying, oh, we're having a great 100 days. A re-election propaganda piece. And we're 100 days in. He's already running for re-election. Unbelievable. we've got to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We're over all day. So stay tuned. More as we move right along.
Don't go anywhere. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
You'd be crazy to change the dial now.
Powerful, epic music by Toothbox Roll. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
And welcome back, folks. I didn't even touch on what I wanted to touch on last segment because I'm so infuriated with the propaganda piece that I didn't even get to express the deeper thoughts about that because there's so much just on the surface. But here we go. Okay, Donald Trump is being censored by these television networks. They don't want to play his propaganda piece, and they have every right to. But these mainstream media outlets that have done this, that said, no, we're not going to play it because we either don't believe it or we don't like it or whatever reason they don't want to play it. These are the same ones that were there with their cameras when there was a Christian bakery who did not want to make a cake for a gay wedding. They didn't want to do it. And the whole world came down on them because the media exposed it. The media highlighted it. They trying to ruin a business because that business said, no, thank you. We don't want to deal with you. We do not want to service you. Now, the mainstream media is doing the same thing to Donald Trump, and it's okay. The hypocrites in the mainstream media. That's where I'm going with this. They have every right to tell Donald Trump, we don't want to run your ad. We don't want to take your money. But then they go ahead and turn around and tell people they have to do something because it's politically correct. And if they don't, they're going to bring the entire weight of the mainstream media to bear. And it's going to destroy your business. So the mainstream media needs to shut their mouth in the future when somebody doesn't want to do business with somebody because it's none. Excuse me. It's none of the mainstream media's business. Who does business with who? And since they are choosing who they're doing business with, they have lost all credibility when it comes to that. They can no longer go to some bakery and say, boo, you're a bad person because you're not baking a cake for something you don't believe in. It is America. We're not supposed to be able to be forced into doing things. You're not obligated. You're not burdened, required, forced, bonded, or liable for doing something that you do not want to do. That is the American way. And right now, because Donald Trump is complaining about this, he's having an issue with the mainstream media not running his ads. We have two sets of socialists at odds with each other. We have the soft socialists, those are Trump and a lot of the Republicans, versus the hardcore socialists, and that's like the mainstream media and the Democrats. And they're at odds with each other on how much freedom each one gets. But neither one of them wants freedom for anyone else but themselves. That's why I call the Republicans soft socialists. while the Democrats are hardcore socialists, if not communists. And if people get mad at that, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just calling it as I see it. Then we had the jobs report. Oh, the big jobs report came out. Oh, yes, it did. Making America great again, folks. Yep. And I've been looking through the want ads again, and there's nothing new. Like I said earlier, there's garbage and more garbage. The unemployment numbers, which are now being boasted about by the Trump administration, 4.4 unemployment, best in whatever 10 years or whatever it was. They're boasting about it, except they're using the same formula the Obama administration was using, and the Donald Trump administration prior to them getting into office, as they were in the campaign mode, were complaining about this system that the Obama administration was using to calculate the unemployment numbers. Yet as soon as they get in office, they use the same formula. And they forget all those people that are not looking for work anymore. Still in the 95 million people. I mean, it's an incredible amount of people not looking for work anymore because there was no work to be found unless you wanted to work part-time for crappy wages. That's right. And now the Trump administration is going to use those same formula, the same exact formula, because it makes it look good when unemployment is 4.4. You can brag it. Yes, you can brag it. Oh, it's only 4.4. Making America great again. I'm sick of the propaganda. I'm tired of the politicians trying to make me believe that they are doing something in my favor when they're not. And we're seeing that Donald Trump is becoming more of a politician instead of draining the swamp. The swamp is never going to be drained. Because if it was going to be drained, Hillary Clinton would have been thrown in jail. Comey would be out of his position at the White House. We'd clear out the entire FBI of all the people undermining the country. We'd clear out the halls of government of all these people. Nothing is being drained. Oh, it's only 100 days. I forgot. Then why is Donald Trump putting out a propaganda piece bragging about all the things that he's done when it hasn't been a whole lot? Oh, executive orders. Woo! Executive orders. That's awesome. We get one little nugget, and that's the mandate of Obamacare. And trust me, Obamacare was a huge issue for me, and I'm thankful we got that. But like I said last week, folks, we're going to be lucky to get 20%, maybe 15% of what Donald Trump promised in the election. We're going to be lucky. There are some angles you have to look at this and say, at least we didn't get Hillary Clinton. At least we didn't. Because we wouldn't have got the repeal of the mandate with Hillary. Never would have got that. The budget probably would have been pretty much the same, minus the military spending. But that doesn't mean I have to be happy about it. That doesn't mean I have to be satisfied with less. We wanted the swamp drained, and it's not draining. It's not. Whatever hole that supposedly Donald Trump has put in there to drain the swamp, it was plugged back up pretty quick. We're seeing that the Syrian thing, now the federal budget, the continuing resolution, the 6-month budget. Oh, we can only fund it for a little while at $1.1 trillion.
John, are you ready for me yet?
Yeah, come on in, Shady.
Well, all right then.
So how are things in sickbay?
Well, they're getting ready to bring him out, John.
That's good to hear. So you got a cool or uncool for us tonight? Well, you know I do, because I'm always here with a cool or uncool, or why else would I be here? So give me the intro. This hour's cool or uncool is repeal and replace everybody in the government. Not bad, Shady. I know it's not bad. It's even better than not bad. It's really good. Our first call is coming in from Chicago, Illinois. Peppa, what say you?
I want to bring back President Obama's.
No, we've had enough of him. You know, maybe I should run for president again.
I want Obama.
Lady, your time is up. Goodbye. Thanks for your call. I don't think you should run for president again, John. Why do you say that, Shady? Because nobody wanted you last time. Be like Mitt Romney running again. Up next, we have Gordy from Ottawa, Ontario.
Trump's not gonna let you smoke pot anymore, eh?
What does that have to do with repeal and replace everybody in the government?
Oh, I don't know, eh?
Maybe he just wanted to call in, Shady.
Oh, I did, eh?
Listen, we had a meeting about this last week, and stupid people ain't allowed to call anymore. What makes him stupid, Shady? Because I said he is.
But I'm not, eh?
Goodbye, eh? Dumb Canadian. Thanks for your call. What the hell does he know about this country? Well, he probably watches the news. And that's supposed to make him smile? I see your point. Up next, we have Nancy from San Francisco. Tell us what's on your mind.
I'm pleased to take a couple of questions if anybody has any. No questions?
Thanks for your call. Ding dong, there's the Wicked Witch again. Well, at least one of them, Shady. Well, we're hearing from the other one, too. Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to go away. Now look at this. I like this next caller. She's always right. And she's calling in from one of my favorite places in the world. What do you mean your favorite places in the world? Naples, Florida. I think she's calling in from Naples, Florida. Well, I like nipples. Cora, what say you?
Sonny, get rid of all of them. Throw them on the street and then drive the gang up their ass.
Okay, thanks for your call. See, I told you I liked her. It's a little hostile, don't you think, Shady? What do you mean? If they had a chance, they'd drop a bomb on you, wouldn't they? It's hard to argue with that. Up next, we've got Abu from Sanctuary City.
Hello, John. I cannot find a full-time job anywhere. I have 4 part-time jobs right now.
You have 4 part-time jobs?
Well, on Saturday and Sunday, I work at a bowling alley, as you know.
Uh-huh.
And then on Fridays, I am a singer in a hookah bar.
Excuse me. What's a hookah bar?
Well, that is a place where you can smoke hookahs.
Let me ask you another question. Are there any women there that want to smoke my hookah? Shady, you don't have a hookah. Well, I did the last time I looked. Hang on a minute, I'll check. Yep, still there. Really, Shady? What? Forget it. Abu, are you still there?
Yes, John.
Well, tell us about your other 2 jobs.
Well, I also work at my cousin's insurance company, John.
And what kind of insurance do you sell?
Well, we sell health, life, and auto insurance.
John, are you sure you don't want to talk about my hookah anymore? I'm sure, Shady. Please continue, Abu.
And then finally, I moonlight as a private investigator.
Excuse me. Let me ask you a question. What the hell do you investigate?
Well, at the moment, I am investigating a missing camel.
That's interesting. And how long have you been on the case?
Well, I've been on the case for quite some time now, John. Ever since I lost it.
You mean you lost your own camel?
That's right, John.
Excuse me just a minute here. You're saying you lost your own camel, and now you're investigating how you lost your own camel.
Yes, that is true.
John, what's that, Shady? Hang up on him. Thanks for your call, Abu.
Goodbye, John. Bye.
I told you we should have been talking about my hookah this whole time. Speaking of time, look at it. It's time to go, John. I'll see you later, everyone. Bye. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's first hour of the John Lebang Show. I'd like to thank all of my affiliate stations. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Please send us your emails at jlebang@live.com. Thank you all for listening. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, and for some of you, that's in the next hour. This is John Lebang. I am signing off from the Banger Studio.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, Same station.
Resistance.